Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1501, 1501, as we begin our trek through the 1500s. I am Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today, Madame Rutabaga Valentino, Bison Bentley. I was jamming to Billy Ocean today. Oh,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Sorry, getting up at 4 in the morning and waking up to 40-degree temperature doesn't really
Mike's Daily Podcast
help my podcasting. Hey, you get into my car, that's my little song. It's from a far way back in the 80s. Billy Ocean. He was so big. It was the motion of the times to listen to Billy Ocean going, wanna be your lover.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Lover boy. When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Mike's
Yeah, you can tell.
Daily
Not the best lyrics.
Podcast.
Caribbean Queen.
Yeah!
Now we're sharing the same dream, and our hearts still beat as one. No more love on the run. Oh, God. I heard him every 5 seconds growing up. And in my teen years, in my high school years, it was the Billy Ocean jam all the time. And you don't know, if you're like 20, you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you're even in your 30s, you may not know what I'm talking about. That's fine. That's fine. We're all fine. Fine as wine. Look who walked in. Hello, Michael Masu. It's Mata Bruto Bega. I used to date Billy Ocean. Oh. And how was he? Very nice man. What did you guys do? We broke things. We tore up. Bleep. You tore up. Yeah, we tore it up from the floor up. Ooh.
Busted eardrums.
Look who else walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Val. Excuse me, I was talking about myself there. Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
I'm kind of a big deal.
Hey guys, so what's happening?
I don't know, you was talking about Billy Ocean there.
And here's today's podcast picture.
What is it with the sound effects cutting in on me talking there?
Hey, you know what happened yesterday?
What?
Well, I'll tell you. Yesterday was I was walking with my dog, and his name, say it with me, Basil the Boxer. And we were walking in Colombia, not the country that brings us cocaine. I was talking, or coffee. It was, or my friend Carlos. He lives in Bogota. And I went to high school with him. And we used to listen to a lot of Billy Ocean. And he was a huge Billy Ocean fan. And I hope he's listening to this podcast, but he probably is not, even though he could very well listen to it because the internet is available to everyone. And he could be listening to it now, for all I know. But I'm walking along in Colombia, which is this HOA home. What do you call it? HOA. Yeah, home. It's an HOA. A stinky HOA. I could not stand living in an HOA. But, you know, because you got to make sure your house is nice and painted and everything is pristine. And, you know, you can't let trees grow. I guess basically you got to just be good at keeping things looking nice, which I'm not always that good at. And it's funny because as I was walking my dog, Basil the Boxer, through Colombia, I noticed somebody had their garage door up and it was full of crap that they were selling online. I could just totally tell. And I heard them talking and they were looking at me like, get the hell away. Go away. I also wanted to see them. And they had this look. They had this look of, evening, you're going to be moving along, aren't you? Just keep it moving, sir. So, but that's going on in Colombia. But other than that, it's an HOA and everybody's driving their nice cars. And although I met a nice lady who had just rescued a dog, this cool little poodle mix of some kind. She goes, oh, she's not friendly with anybody or any dogs. And this dog totally came up to Basil, and they sniffed each other. It was fine. And in time, the little dog let me pet him. It was cool. So that's Columbia is not too far from my house. And I like to walk there with my dog, Basil the Boxer. It's a nice walk, and the view is beautiful this time of year when we get such clear skies. And so I'm walking with my dog down the hill, and this lady goes, she's looking up in the sky, and I'm like, what's going on? And she goes, oh, the International Space Station is about to pass overhead. And I said, what? That's awesome. And she goes, yeah, it should be any minute. And I went, go! Oh, that's cool. I can't wait. So we stood there, and she goes, yeah, I'm not sure what it looks like. Maybe that's it. And sure enough, there's this thing that looks like I would say an orangish star, like a bright star passing overhead. And it's moving not too fast, probably, well, it took about 4 minutes to go from the western horizon to the eastern horizon. And it's funny because just as it got a little bit over like where the trees, the height of the trees, it just suddenly disappeared. Oh, I'm getting a call. That's odd. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Later that day.
Well, that's never happened before. Oh my gosh. Somebody called up with a traffic report. I felt like I was back at Kehe in Ventura. Hey, it's Road Ranger Paul. Northbound 101 just south of Yerba Buena. There's a traffic accident. Wow, that was so cool. That felt like radio again. It felt like radio. Dang, that's awesome. Got a call actually here at Café Anyway telling me about the traffic report. How neat is that? So what was also neat was the darn, what do you call it? International Space Station flying overhead. And I said to the lady, who kind of looked like a female Dennis Prager, for those of you who know what that means, I said, wow, that's amazing how bright it is. They're not shining a light down. I mean, we wouldn't be able to see the light if they were shining it from way up there in the atmosphere. So it's reflecting the sunlight. It's that reflective up there. I had no idea. And it makes sense because once it gets past the horizon on the east side, it's not reflecting the sun anymore, so it disappears right away. And so she's like, yeah, you can go online, and there is a track the station on NASA, the nasa.gov website. Go on there, and you can see when the space station will be flying over where you live. And this is the time of year that it is very easy to see. I thought that was awesome, and it reminded me of when I was a kid, we could see Skylab flying overhead as it was about to burn up in the atmosphere back in the 70s. And I have seen on a really clear night up in, I think I was up in Copperopolis near Lake Tulloch. And we were looking up in the sky. This is over Northern California, but I guess towards Yosemite. You can look up and see in the night sky. It is so clear. You can see satellites flying overhead. Satellite, but that's my brother Dave sings that one. No, it's not. And it's not Billy Ocean either. But my point being that people get remarried too soon. Have you noticed that? I have noticed that when people get remarried, they're doing it because they're so alone, and they jump into something with someone that they are less connected to than the first marriage. And I've seen this a lot. If people are too lonely and they end up with the, what? Why are you with this? So, but, you know, they've also told me a lot. I've heard second marriages often fail, but a lot of the second marriages I know of have kept going and have lasted a long time. But people look back and they look back fondly at the first marriage. Oh, things were different back then. I brought that up for no apparent reason at all. So now a missile from North Korea can hit anywhere in the U.S. And that is horrific and scary, but it also makes all those people in the eastern part of the U.S., east of the Bay Area, that we're going, hey, California is going to get hit by North Korea by a missile. Ha ha. And we aren't. Nope, now everybody is in that. Not that there was anyone that cruel saying that, but it's just weird now that it's apparent we're all in the crosshairs. Of course, if they try anything, there'll be repercussions. I'm going to use a picture about Christmas, but I just don't know what yet. Should I do one from last night with the moon overhead in this nice house that had its nice little Christmas tree? Yeah, let's do that. All right, I'm going to do that, this picture here. You can see it at mikesdailypodcast.com, where you can catch all the other stuff going on. Looks like ex-Twitter employee who deleted Trump's Twitter account speaks out. He was a contractor for the social media site, and he said that he's a 20-something with Turkish roots, born and raised in Germany, was working as a contractor for a fixed term for the last part of his stay in the U.S. under a work and study visa. In addition to his role at Twitter with Pro Unlimited, other assignments had included stints in modernization at Google and YouTube. And he was asked, he describes the event as a mistake. Specifically, he said he never thought the account would actually get deactivated. Ah, okay. Well, thank you, TechCrunch. By the way, to get to that sentence that I just read, I had to go all the way down. There's so much fluff, is my point. In the online articles, people write so much. What is Matt Lauer saying? He addressed a growing spate of allegations that he harassed and assaulted women during his tenure at the NBC Morning Institution, apologizing for his actions and vowing to fix the damage he caused. He said, "There are no words to express my sorrow and regret for the pain I have caused others by words and actions. The people I have hurt, I am truly sorry. As I am writing this, I realize the depth of the damage and disappointment I have left behind at home and at NBC. Some of what is being said about me is untrue or mischaracterized, but there is enough truth in these stories to make me feel embarrassed and ashamed. I regret that my shame is now shared by the public I cherish dearly." He said in a statement that was released by a personal publicist and forming the bulk of the top story on the Today Thursday morning show that you can watch on. Okay. There was something online too about all the interviews he's done and how some of them did border on the creepy, like when he was interviewing Anne Hathaway, and that people were, hey, maybe there was something. What? A particle accelerator reveals the secrets of an ancient mummy. They recently found a tool that allowed them to look inside an ancient Egyptian mummy, a high-energy particle accelerator. The Hibbard mummy contains the body of a young Egyptian girl, estimated to be around 5 years old when she died at the end of the 1st century AD. So, like yesterday. No, that was so long ago. Wow. She lived in an agricultural community west of the Nile and likely died of a disease, smallpox or malaria. The researchers temporarily removed the mummy from its home in a collection at the Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary at Northwestern University and brought it to the Argonne National Laboratory, located just outside of Chicago. There they used advanced photon source, the brightest X-ray source in the Western Hemisphere, to look inside without risking any damage. Huh. What else will they use that on? NBC has received at least 2 new complaints about Matt Lauer. According to a person briefed on the network's handling of the matter, one complaint came from a former employee who said Matt Lauer had summoned her to his office in 2001, locked the door, and sexually assaulted her. She provided her account to the New York Times, but declined to let her name be used. And then doesn't mention the other. Okay. A civil rights lawyer with the firm Wickenfield, Herendeen, and Atkinson in Washington said he represented the woman who had made the initial complaint to NBC but declined to identify her. The woman met with reporters from the Times on Monday but said she was not ready to discuss it publicly. Okay, can we go with one more story? One more of any sort of use to us? Army veteran says Franken groped her during a 2003 USO tour? No. Democratic women expressed disgust with the party's response to Conyers? No. Are we just done with the sexual harassment thing? It's not done. No, it's not done by a long shot, but it's getting a little bit, it's getting very tiring to hear about it over and over again. Okay, well, thank you for listening to the show. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I do hope the northbound 101 does clear up at some point south of Yerba Buena. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Shelley Schuhart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. Thank you for listening to the first episode in the 1500 series. Look up and see in the sky if you see the International Space Station. Go to that nasa.gov somewhere on nasa.gov, do a search, and I think it's called Spotting the Station, I think is what it's called. And one more thing, I had my free burger from Red Robin yesterday. I only bring it up because once upon a time I ate at Red Robin. I ate there all the time when I was married. And, well, let's just say my ex-wife and I, we got pretty unhealthy eating there. And I could see yesterday eating my free burger exactly why. There was nothing of nutritional value on that burger at all. I got the most expensive one that I was allowed to get with my free burger, birthday burger email. And there was, I think the only thing maybe healthy on it was a tomato. The rest was, bread, cheese, all that yummy stuff. The meat, the protein, just yummy, and the fries. But I don't need to go back there ever again. But thank you for the free burger, Red Robin. And Michelle was very nice, the food server that helped me. Oh, and then Snap announced yesterday that it was rolling out a redesign for Snapchat that is intended to separate users' feeds between their friends from the brands that publish content on the app. And it apparently is becoming very anti-Facebook, according to Quartz. So that is useful to some of you. I did have a Snapchat, but I don't use it anymore. I am on Instagram, though, at mikesdailypodcast.com. Find all the other places that you can find me and this show at mikesdailypodcast.com. Oh, the phone's ringing again. I gotta go.
Good morning, Mr. Matthews.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.